Hello and welcome to the Troyiverse. This is episode 44. It is August 5th, a Wednesday. The temperature in Philly is 82 degrees and it's cloudy. It's supposed to rain in the next 20 something minutes, but it looks pretty good over on my side of Philly where I'm at. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's only just shattered storms like in other parts of the area, and I won't get caught up in it. Or maybe I will, but hopefully it'll be after the podcast is done and after I go shopping. um, I am super happy. I just came back. I just left the theater. Well, the theater and then also comic book store, but I left the theater seeing Spider Man. It was amazing. Spider Man Brand New Day was really well done. I'm happy with the direction of how like the new trilogy is going. I've told you I was a fan of the first trilogy. I'm still a fan of where they're going with the concept of it. I like it, dude. I'm excited. I think this is going to be dope. I feel like it I like. Okay, so like first and foremost, I'm a comic book head. Like that's like obvious. If you like listen to my podcast, you know how much I enjoy comic books, and how much I talk about going to the comic book store all the goddamn time and picking up different comic book stuff that I like and new comic books that I'm enjoying. Which is funny because I never talk about the comic after I really don't talk about the comic books I'm reading. I talk about the fact that I just go to the comic book store and buy my stuff, but which I'm probably going to start changing up soon because I'm just. It'd be interesting to talk about my comics, the comics I'm enjoying right now, and the different evolution of my fandom that I have grown from. But regardless, uh, I've always enjoyed and liked the movies because of the fact that I always felt that not even just felt, but it's an obvious point of saying the movies aren't blow to blow from the comic books. Like they are in their own separate alternate universe. You can basically attribute it to a cinematic universe of what if, except for it's not going as far out as the cartoon narrative or the comic book narrative or what if comic books usually go or storylines usually go. But this is a alternate timeline. This is not the same timeline as the normal comic book version of 616. And I'm not going to go into the concept of being like on my pedestal of talking about how these weird fanboys and fangirls always try to conflate the narrative of what the comic books did compared to what the movies are doing, because those are two separate mediums that share the same properties. That's all they are. It's literally like having branch theory, if you will. So the fact of the matter is of how I enjoyed what they did with Sadie Sinks. Once again, I'm not going to spoil the character. It should be out by now. Like it should be well known who she's playing. But if it's not, I'm not going to spoil it. But I am happy with how they presented her character. I'm happy about the changes they did to her timeline and to the story plot of her, who she is and where she gets her motivations and stuff like that from. I'm excited to see where this is going to be heading, along with those different new plot lines and plot journeys. I really enjoy and really like the evolution of the friendship that Peter has with like his friends and the relationship that he was building with the superhero community, and like also just the city of New York, as well as like certain people in the police departments and the enforcer fields and stuff like that. Like it was actually really dope. It really show the diversity of like the opinions that people had compared to the usual narrative that was, put out there. Like in comic books, like it is depending on the writer will have different type of elements of yada yada. And I enjoyed how this director pulled from all of those tropes and put it into the concept. And also, I really this is not even a spoiler, but Tom and Zendaya, in real life, love playing the Spider-Man game. Well, I would say Tom loves playing it. Zendaya is not a really. She's a gamer, but she's not a gamer, if you will. So it's one of those things where they enjoy playing it. They enjoy playing the Spider-Man games, and the fact of the matter is, they incorporated so many things from the Spider-Man game into the actual live action that was actually really well done. I did not expect them to have used so many dynamic moves and settings and situations where it was literally ripped right from the game. It was very dope. It was very, very awesome. I applaud them for that. I'm super happy. I'm ecstatic about what they did and how close they represented the game version of Spider-Man as well as the comic book character of Spider-Man, because there was a lot of different cover art that they redesigned in the movie to mimic the actual cover art of the actual comic books, and it was really dope. Not even cover art, but some panels of just other situations and stuff like that. It was really well done. They did a hell of a good job. I was impressed. I am definitely going to see Doomsday when Doomsday come out in a couple of months. I can't keep glazing and praising Marvel for what they're doing and not also add and talk about the fucked upness of what they're doing as well. And when I talk about the fucked upness, I'm talking about the fact that I, as a black male who is a comic book fan and has enjoyed comic books for decades, there's far and few between representations and stuff that I actually really bang with when it comes down to Marvel. But the ones that I do, there's no representation for them whatsoever in the movies, and sadly, somewhat in the comic books. That being the case, and that being said, the fact of the matter is that all these black led hero movies in the Marvel repertoire is being canceled or being pushed to the side. Even other POC driven narratives of Moon Knight being canceled. It's shitty. It's fucked up. I'm annoyed by it. It's not something that I'm happy about. It's not something that I'm not excited at all. It's really sad, dude. Because I wanted to see Blade. I wanted to see Mahershala Ali play in Blade, and I wanted to see what the new concept of this version of the MCU Blade would have been. I wanted to see the second season of Wonder Man. I thought the first season was dope. I thought the first season of, and I want to say first season because it should have a season 2, but Ironheart season was amazing. I thought the storyline was dope. I banged with the actress that played Riri Williams. It was incredible. Even in the cartoon side of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, though that series was incredible. I particularly loved season 2 because of the fact that it dealt with a subject matter that is very far and few between dealt with in comic books, let alone when it comes down to the concept of a children's program and a children's themed comic book setting. was really well done, and I really enjoyed it. I used to buy that series of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur for myself also, but mainly for my daughter because I wanted to have, you know, something that shows representation for her as being, you know, a young black girl, and, you know, of course being raised by, you know, myself and her mom being an intelligent young black woman and like young black girl, and, you know, so she can grow up and finding more role models in the fact of seeing somebody that looks like her, and, you know, yada yada yada. But it's like they canceled that, and that was frustrating because that was something that I wanted to hopefully they would have like at least 5 seasons so they can go into syndication and yada yada yada. But yeah, it was just it's just daunting. It's daunting, and not to mention, like, fact of the matter is, I'm not sure yet, and I haven't seen anybody really. I've seen like 1 or 2 people really speak on it, but nobody's really touching on it. But as much as I wasn't a fan of the Fox Mini Universe, it's kind of annoying to be like, we're going to bring all these people back, you know, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Cyclops, you know, like more likely Hugh Jackman's going to be in there, and among other people, but they didn't bring back Storm. Like, I know they didn't bring back the actress that played Jean Grey, but that can also be a red herring. That's why I'm like, I don't really want to talk about the Storm speculation just yet because I haven't seen the movie, so they could be like bring her out, like, even if it's like a 30-second cameo type thing. But at the same time, like, it's no fanfare about talking about that. There's no fanfare about her character being represented in that, and this is annoying. Is really crazy. Like, luckily Luke Cage was like, it did really well, but of course everybody was like coming at that hard, and he barely was. He was like, what, he was in like 30 seconds of the last episode of Daredevil. Luckily, I know they're supposed to be doing the revamp of the Defenders in season 3 of Daredevil Born Again, which is going to be dope. But like at the same time, if anything, I've heard any rumors of any of those shows coming back is, of course, the Jessica Jones show coming back. And if they did do anything, they was going to try to do a Heroes for Hire combination with Luke Cage and Danny Rand. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't watch. First of all, let me just say it like that. I didn't watch the Iron Fist show, and so I'm not going to say anything about it. But I will say, when I was watching the Defenders thing, I just didn't like the actor that played Danny Rand. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't pulled into the narrative of the show. Honestly, every time he talked, he pulled me out of the lore of, and the, you know, the fun of just the show of what it was. Like, I told everybody, and I keep saying it, the only scene I actually liked him in was the part where he brought everything on the menu at the Chinese restaurant. And he was just like this smug rich dude. And it was like, okay, that fits. Like I felt, it felt natural. It felt like it was a natural thing for him being in that role. But other than that, everything else was just like, alright. I was just, yeah, I mean, I enjoy everybody else that was in there, like, you know what I mean, but it was just, I wasn't, you know, like, it wasn't hitting for me with his character, with his acting and his role and stuff like that. But regardless, yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up that it's this weird, you know, MAGA, and I'm not saying Marvel is MAGA, but I'm saying it feels fanboy MAGA adjacent. Like, it feels like if it's not white, it's not right type scenario that they're trying to do. Because regardless of anything, as much as I love Fear on Florence Pugh, and like I love the character Yelena, the new like Black Widow and stuff like that, and on a separate side, as much as I can't stand Anthony Mackie, I just don't like him. I don't know. It's not like I don't know him as a person. It's sometimes you just don't like people, and it's okay. It's okay to not to like people, but like I just don't like them. And For some reason, I just never have. I just never enjoyed him as an actor. However, I do like him as Sam Wilson. I liked him in Winter Soldier, and I liked him fucking Civil War, and I liked his Captain America movie. Like, I know that is, full power of like that, but I really don't care what anybody think about what my opinion is. Like, what I like, my likes and dislikes, but like, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it. And the fact of the matter is, he's Captain America, and, he, no pun intended, kind of slightly intended, he didn't get off the ground. Like, we didn't even see him get off the ground to beat Captain America yet. And now is already a thing where they're breaking in, which I still feel like it's Hydra Cap. Like, I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, Chris Evans is back, so he's back again type thing. He's going to be, Steve Rogers for the foreseeable future type thing. I really don't think that is the case. I really do think it's a red herring where it's basically a thing where he's Hydra Cap and he's like working with Doom or like that. And he's just sent in there to like throw the heroes off type shit. But once again, I gotta wait and see. So when it comes down to it, it is frustrating. It is annoying. It is like, you know what I mean? But it's disgusting, honestly, to me in a way, because it's like, once again, and it's not one of those things that is like, it's never a case of not knowing, but like, once again, it's like they use black people to get what they want, and then when they feel like they get too much pushback, then they just throw them aside again. It's like once again, like they're just property, like they're not people, like they're not actual, like something to be valued and stuff like that, like a valuable human being. So it's fucked up. Because my thing was, Black Panther was Black Panther, but I really never really fucked with Black Panther in the comic book, so I really didn't care. I supported it because, of course, it goes into the whole black representation, and if they see the power of the dollar that we can bring to generate these movies, then they'll, of course, the theory was, then they'll keep producing and bringing out these movies. But clearly, since then, that's not the case, and it sucks and it's shitty. Because my thing was I always thought Black Panther was Uncle Tom, honestly. That was always my thing. I've said it before, I said it again. I said this, which was hilarious, because I think I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again because I don't have a problem mentioning it again. The whole second movie was literally why I couldn't stand the first movie. Because literally, he had 3 people in his ear. I mean, he had more than 3 people in his ear, but he had 3 people in his ear that he mainly listened to, which was Nokia, his homeboy with the rhinos, and Killmonger. And when I tell you, like, the ending represented how he did that, he represented the fact of being like, oh yeah, Killmonger said he wanted to weaponize the people outside of, Wakanda, stuff like that, and he weaponized the people with knowledge. He did the outreach program that Shuri is going to be involved in, because Shuri wanted to be outside and wanted to do her thing and show how smart she was to everybody, yada yada yada. The homie was like, don't bring in new people because they're refugees, and refugees bring refugee problems. So he was like, I'm not bringing people into Wakanda. I want to bring Wakanda out into the people. Then Nokia was like, we gotta help the people. We gotta help, because there's a lot of people out there that's like not, in a good yada yada yada. And he did that, but at the same time, once again, it was this weird thing of the history of the world is still the history of the world in the Marvel Universe. There was still slavery in the Marvel Universe. There's still, yada yada yada. Because once again, there's no way in hell you can bring these black individuals into like the main source of like New York and all around the world without the transatlantic slave trade. So that history is there. Wakanda knows about that history. They know about what, the colonizers did. Literally, Shuri called it a colonizer. Like, so the fact that he's going to go in front of the UN with all these colonizers and be like, I'm going to give y'all all the fucking tea on everything that's going on in our fucking secluded city that y'all never knew about. Literally, the motherfucker disrespected them, and before he even said anything, like, what a bunch of farmers going to show us, like, and he still was like, okay, let me flex on y'all. No, they don't need to know shit. All he needed to do was do what he did in with the whole outreach programs and all that shit, and was like, yo, I'm just going to do an outreach program. Like, I'm going to try. I want to invest so we can do an outreach program. Yada yada yada. I told him all the shit about the fucking vibranium and all that shit, and with the magical properties and mystical properties of the metal that it can do and shit like that. Which once again caused fucking the second movie to happen, which now colonizers caused such a fucking feud and uproar in the fucking Atlantic Sea. I mean, the fucking ocean and shit like that. That now Namor went and came up to Wakanda. It was like, y'all did this shit. Now we got to come to your door because y'all fucked up our fucking shit. Because these colonizers want to fuck with your shit, but they can't fuck with you, so then they gonna try to come and fuck with us. So it was ridiculous. So, and once again, even in the comic books, separating the movies from the comic books, but even in the comic books, he always wanted to hang out with like the Avengers and Fantastic Four, something like that. Like, or I remember the one run where he I think he was in like Hell's Kitchen, stuff like that. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the Ta-Nehisi Coates run because he was doing a genuine, authentic run where he was literally having T'Challa hang out with almost all the black superheroes. Like, he was hanging out with like Luke Cage, he was hanging out with Storm again, he was hanging out with Threshold, which is a black mutant that has teleportation powers. Well, technically, they explain it. He doesn't have teleportation powers. They explain Threshold basically has the power to commune and talk to space, and space allows him to transcend it through portals and wormholes and stuff like that. That space itself controls and opens up. So it's this weird way of saying like he's just another Doorman basically, but he's a Doorman that talks to the doors. But regardless, it is what it is. But like it was a whole thing where he was they had like the multitude of like black heroes like coming together to like, you know, engage with each other and talk to each other and like hang out with each other and help each other and stuff like that. So that Ta-Nehisi Coates like run was actually dope to me. I know a lot of people had problems with it, but I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was actually really good. I thought it was a really amazing concept, and like I enjoyed reading that run when I was collecting it. But yeah, like the sad part about it is one of the main characters, like black characters that I like, or African American characters I like, are like Blue Marvel. And I think if you don't know anything about Blue Marvel, I say like look him up. Like either try to buy his comics to read his comics, or just look up his comics and stuff like that to see what the storyline was. The storyline was dope. 123. Like besides him, I've mentioned it before, but Sync is from the X-Men is he was one of my favorite. He was not my first, but he was one of my favorite black characters. Like from the moment that you seen him in like the beginning arc of like the Phalanx saga, where Banshee, Jubilee, Emma Frost, and Sabretooth was tracking down the new mutants, which became Generation X. Like, you see him in the streets of New York, like on his front stoop, and he's just talking he's talking, and all of a sudden you see like him standing there, with his baseball cap on, his fucking jersey on, his jeans on, some kicks on, like that, and like nothing but cops inside his fucking doorstep, fucking pointing guns at him and shit. And I was like, see, I fucks with that. Like this is a narrative that, is representative of the American black teen, or like that, an American black adult. So they don't have his powers be like to mimic other people's powers. Like, I thought that was dope. Of course, they killed him off later, but then of course, because X-Men, he got better, so he came back. Like I felt like they dogged him out. Like they dogged him out a lot. Like because even in his later issues, like he gratefully, which was awesome, he actually ended up dating Wolverine, Laura Kinney's Wolverine, and it was really dope how they did it because they was like they had this mission that they did together, and they was together for like thousands of years on this mission, and they fell in love with each other, and like she risked her life to save him, and she ended up dying, and it was a dope storyline. But he still had the concept of like what he experienced, like because it was his conscious that was pulled into another younger body and stuff like that. There wasn't even time travel; it was a whole other thing. But it was during Krakoa age, so if you know the Krakoa age, then you know what I mean. But like, if you don't, then I highly recommend reading it. It was a really dope plot line and plot through line. It was really hot. It was really dope. But of course, they fucked that up because he lost his love, and then shenanigans pursued. He got his love back, but then shenanigans ensued again, and he lost his love, and it was just crazy. But he was the leader of the X-Men for a minute. Like he was the leader of the X-Men team, and it was actually it was dope because they were showing how like incredible he is as a character. And now, once again, because they closed off that chapter of Krakoa, he's gone with the wind. Like, I think they showed him like one time in like another canceled X-Men X-book series that just came out. I think it was like the NYX series that just it was rebooted and canceled because they was bringing out a whole bunch of like X-Men books at the same time. And once again, if it's not the main group from like the blue team or the gold team, or even if it's not something like a variant of like X-Force or X-Factor, then it's not really going to hit that well. But it is what it is. Like another good writer will come in and bring them back out eventually, and I'll have the joy of being able to read his character development more in line. Another black character I fucking adore is Prodigy. He's another black male character, openly gay. Well, I think he's bisexual. I'm not sure if he's actually full. Well, he's queer. Let's just say he's queer. Because I believe he dated women before. But regardless, he's another character who he's not an expert fighter. He's not an expert killer, but he uses his mind. He is his mutant ability is basically similar to Sync and similar to Rogue, except for the fact that he doesn't need to touch anybody. He just needs to be in proximity of them, and then he gains awareness and their abilities of their mental capacity. So, like, if you think about Forge, how Forge, he can make anything out of anything. Like, if he thinks it, he can create it. If Prodigy was standing in the room with Forge, he would actually get that type of wherewithal of Forge's mental capacity, but then also know how to expand upon it and make it even better. So it was to a point where they did a fucking fabulous storyline with him at one point, where they did a simulation of what him at his fullest potential could do, and it was so fucked up, but it made sense. He ended up becoming the president, but he also ended up becoming a supervillain. So he's the president of the United States that was also a supervillain, and it was fucking crazy. But because he's seen how this scenario would have gone, he actually, once again, burden of being an excellent fucking awesome black person, he and white guilt that was always pressing down on him, he basically asked to have his abilities suppressed, if you will. So he was able to access his ability, but he was never able to go to the full extent to his abilities. He actually had a really good run for his character on X Factor in the Krakoa Age, another Krakoa Age series that was in print. It was really dope. I actually really liked that because it was basically different. It was a team of like investigators. but they all, had their own different abilities and yada yada yada. So he was on it. iBoy was on it. Dakin was on it. Wolverine's son. Rachel Gray was in it. Polaris was in it. Until they moved her off it and put her in the X-Men team, which was really weird and dumb. But regardless, because Polaris and Rachel was dating at the time. Who else? It was somebody else. I think that was on the. I want to say not North Star. Yeah, I think it was North Star, because he was. I don't think he was a member of the team. I think he was there because his twin sister was dating Dakin, and him and Dakin they was beefing because of that. But the show was dope. It was really well done. I mean, not the show. The comic book was dope. It was really well done. But yeah, Prodigy was one of the characters I really fucking fucked with. Like, between Prodigy, Sync, and then Blue Marvel, like, those are like black characters I really banged with. But of course, like I said, they don't really get representation like that, because Prodigy, I don't know where the fuck he's at now. Like, after the Krakoa age, I don't know where the fuck he's gone to. And right now, I think Blue Marvel is in a whole nother universe that they not even writing about. They don't even. And if he's not, because okay, first off, the last time I think I seen Blue Marvel in comic book print was actually when Magneto died and Storm went to go get him. Went into like the afterlife to go retrieve him to bring him back. And she went to Blue Marvel because Blue Marvel had this window gate thing that allowed him to access the different realms and different existences and what like that. But it also was like a portal allowing Storm to go into it to bring Eric back. So that was the last time I can recall seeing Blue Marvel in the 616 universe. But they always make these excuses or reasons why he's never around. And it was fucked up, because my thing was, I like really found out, I really read and enjoyed his character from the Ultimates comic books. And the Ultimate comic books wasn't from like the Ultimate Universe comic book. It was actually the Ultimates and the Marvel 616 universe, which it was Blue Marvel, it was Spectrum, it was Black Panther, it was Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, it was American Chavez, and yeah, I think that was the rest of the team. But the thing was, they was doing this whole thing where they was trying to solve problems in the not just the Marvel universe, but also like slightly in the multiverse as well. They did a really great run where they broke through, like, this is because all right, so basically the first issue basically was them evolving Galactus to his final form, which made Galactus go into like this golden god state where he wasn't hungry anymore. Though they like staved off his, like, they made him sate. He was finally sated, and he was like he didn't have to crave eating planets. But the problem is, Galactus is supposed to be a constant who's supposed to eat planets, because if we don't eat planets, then the Celestials and the planets are going to grow and actually become sentient again, which means they're going to, take over reality, yada yada yada. So he is supposed to be a constant, and because they did that, they fucked with the flow of like nature, and it was a whole shenanigans thing. But at the same time, it was this background story that was happening where it was supposed to be the first fragment, which was the original first reality or first universe of the Marvel universe, until the Celestials, once again, Celestials were banded into two separate like entities. It was the Celestials that was created by the first fragment, which was just these black like energy beings of Celestials, and then they mutated, because once again it's always about mutation. They mutated into the colorful sentient Celestials that we know of today, yada yada yada. And they actually had a war. the the melanated ones and the colored ones, which is so crazy to say like that. But like that's what they were. They ended up having a war, and their war was so catastrophic it broke up and destroyed the first universe, first reality that was the Marvel universe, and then those shards of the first filament basically reconstructed and then was shattered again. It was always a cycle, once again, like the Phoenix cycle. It was always a cycle of the reality being destroyed and then refolding back on itself to recreate itself, and yada yada yada. And now I feel like this was basically T'Challa making this team because of the events that happened in Secret Wars. What's that? God, I want to say 2015 Secret Wars or whatever like that. Where Doom took over the whole storyline that they're adapting now in the Marvel universe, basically the whole Doomsday, and then Secret War or like that. Like Doom found out that the multiverse was actually like dying out, and he went back in time. He went all over the multiverse to find out why it was dying out, and then Doctor Strange also got involved, and they both figured out that the reason why it was dying out was because of Molecule Man, and it was a whole bunch of shenanigans ensued, and Strange and Doom was there at the pinnacle of it all because they actually killed off all the Beyonders, and the Beyonders' energy was there for the taking, and Strange was too he didn't believe in himself to take on that type of energy and that type of power, but Doom stepped up and was like, I can, and that's when Doom took all the power of the Beyonders and crafted and created Battle World so that the Marvel universe together. But that was the best he could do. The best he could do was to make this amalgam of all these different like what if storylines and merge them together in one thing, because it held all the core attributes and members of the Marvel universe and yada yada yada, which is why you got like Old Man, like later on they got like Old Man Logan in the 616 universe, because the regular Wolverine was dead at the time, and Laura Kinney was there, and like Badger was there, but also you got Miles Morales in the main 616 universe because he was there when the collision between the regular 616 and the 1610 Marvel universe like collided at the last time, and yeah. So it was a lot that was going on with that storyline, that plot, and how they did it. But it's comic books. That's why I love comic books. It's wacky. It's crazy. It's intense. But Black Panther, he actually sent his consciousness back before the incursion happened with the 1610 universe. And when he did that, he made a note basically to himself to say like, this is what's going on. This is what leads to it, and yada yada. But because Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four and Franklin Richards using his power, as well as combining the abilities of Molecule Man, recreating the multiverse, the original situation that happened and with the incursions did not happen. So when Black Panther sent his consciousness back, he had all the wherewithal and all the knowledge that happened on Battle World, with that last battle with Doom and like everybody else, to like in his present mind. So he was burdened with the knowledge of things that happened but never happened, so to speak, which was actually really dope. And that's why he created the Ultimate Team, so he could create a fail-safe system to stop and prevent things that could possibly happen to happen in the Marvel universe. And it was dope because they went outside of time and space and outside of reality, and like it was bang. They went past like the House of Imagination, because the House of Imagination is like basically the editor room for Marvel, but in the Marvel universe there is a reality or a point past reality where Marvel characters can go into the editing room basically, and it turns for different perceptions. It's different things. Like for the Fantastic Four, they went into the room and it was basically Jack Kirby's office, and he basically redrew the Thing, Ben Grimm, to be like the Thing, and it was dope. I can't remember who else went up besides the Ultimates. I think Spider-Man met the one above all. Loki actually went past it a couple of times actually. Actually, Blue Marvel went past it twice as well, because Blue Marvel was actually on the team with Loki at the time, and I think like Galactus's mom and Tigress and like a couple other people, and they went beyond the realm of reality, and it was really dope. It was a dope concept. It was really well done. But regardless, these characters in these stories don't really get representation. Like, you know, I've always said Blue Marvel can beat Superman hands down, and not just that. You know, it's also the fact that he's an American. He's a Black American that like gained his abilities through science. So you know how I am. I love science. So the fact that you actually have a science like based like narrative coming through and having abilities and powers that are on par but also surpass Superman, because once again he beat up fucking Sentry, and Sentry is supposed to be Hyperion. They're supposed to be like 10 plates of like Marvel Superman, like to the point where Sentry has the power of like 1,000 supernovas and yada yada yada. Blue Marvel knocked that motherfucker out. He put that nigga to sleep. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody say. You can read the comic book yourself. He was fighting the Avengers. He put that motherfucker to sleep, to the point where Sentry woke up. He woke up. This is how crazy. Okay, here's the thing. If you know the story about Sentry, even if you know the briefest moment, like the story about Sentry, do you know if Sentry goes unconscious, if Bob goes unconscious, if Sentry goes unconscious, then the fucking void opens up and comes up. He knocked the Sentry out, and the Sentry woke back up. The void didn't wake up, which means he knocked out the Sentry, he knocked out Bob, and he knocked out the void with one super punch, to the point where this motherfucker woke up. He woke up. It was like, what the fuck? And he flew back down as fast as he could and double-fisted punched Blue Marvel in the back of the head. And all Blue Marvel did was, like, wobble a little bit. It was like, oh, I didn't expect you to be back so soon. Like, this Blue Marvel gut-punched the ultimate version of the Hulk. He gut-punched him so hard. No, sorry, he didn't gut punch him. He chin checked him. He uppercutted him and chin checked him, to the point where he knocked out the ultimate version of the Hulk. He knocked him out. Like, so I don't want to hear anybody say anything like anything. Like, that motherfucker is strong as shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. he could beat Superman. So, but yeah, when it came down to it, my bad, I just see that somebody. Sorry, I want to go off my tangent now, which of Marvel. Yeah, I'll talk about something else, because I didn't realize I was talking about this for like over 40 minutes. But like, I watch YouTube, as you know, everybody know. I enjoy. Again, this goes back to something I talked about previously. I found a new woman who is playing God of War, and I just realized she is basically the version of Thor from Ragnarok, in God of War Ragnarok, literally in human woman form, because she is an incredible fighter. She's not the brightest. Okay, so here's the thing. The game tells you what to do. The game tells you. It's okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. It wasn't like she said. She gave me a heart on my comment, because I wasn't cruel with it, but I was like, come on, man, like come on, son. But like, all right, basically, if you play God of War, play God of War Ragnarok, then you know about how, the tombs the safes that you have to crack the code, the combination, and how in the second game, it's in the first and the second game, but in the second game, you have to use your Blades of Chaos to, ignite the braziers. And it literally says, the combination, like use R1 and L1 to target and then ignite the braziers. Why, oh why, was this young woman using her frost axe on the goddamn braziers? And she was there for a minute. She was there to the point where she stopped trying to light it. She got so frustrated with herself that she stopped trying to light it, and she just kept going and playing the game. And it was like, what it says ignite. Your axe does frost damage to the point where she would literally use her her Blades of Chaos in fights, and she would use it where where Kratos swings the blade around and it ignites, and it turns into flame, and then he sweeps the blade around, and the flame goes into like a little sweeping fire rug carpet ball shit like that. She was doing that in fight. When I say she's Thor, like she is a credible, extremely well versed like combatant. Like she goes in, like even if she gets beat up and shit like that, she goes in. But when I tell you her capacity to like figure out shit, it was so sad, because it was to the point where the game was actually like moving her along super quick. She was like, I didn't know how to understand it. Not to mention, she's at a point now where she just got to like the area where she has to reflect. She has to ricochet her blade, the axe, off of the crystals. Why did she just go and stand in one spot and be like, why isn't it turning blue? Like she's not moving around. She's not until she finally starts to get some wherewithal. Be like, oh, let me move around. Let me actually walk around this like area that I'm at while I'm like, aiming at it. And it happens she is just started. So I want to say she's on like the 5th one, so to speak. No. Sorry, she's on like the 12th one, because she was actually in fights. She was in fights with the elves, and it was at a point where she literally went and she like ricocheted the axe off of like the mirror, like reflector jaws, and she was just standing there for like 2 minutes, like, what is this supposed to do? And it was like, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Like it's ricocheting off the like when I tell you, it takes, like, everybody don't have the same capacity to figure shit out. Like I trust me, I get it, and I'm not like, it's not me making fun of her. It's not. It really is just like, honey, no, like, come on, like, come on. I heard that rumble. In the jungle. I do see the clouds sweeping closer to me. It is starting to get immensely darker in front of me. I think I felt like a drip. And I don't see anything on my windshield just yet, though. But yeah, like this shit, like she's hilarious, dude. Like she's hilarious. I can't like. That's the thing about. She frustrates me to no end with how she like can't figure out shit, but it's so entertaining watching her like fight the boss fights and like do the battles, as well as it's very endearing, like how she like speaks and like interacts with Atreus. Like she adores Atreus. She adores Atreus to no end, and it's so sweet. I think that's another reason why I really do enjoy her, like her style of play, because when it comes down to it, like she's a really kind person when it comes. She's really, at least in her gameplay, when it comes to a trade, she's like super patient and super kind and super, you know what I mean, just attentive, and literally to the point where she like her as Kratos jumping around stuff like that and like going to different platforms and stuff, she'll be looking around like, where are you, Atreus? Where are you, son? Like it's so endearing, it's so adorable. But like I bang with, like I said in my last podcast, I enjoy kind people. I enjoy people that are kind. Like it's really something that like I'm drawn to, and I love that they mirror back the same kindness that I show other people. It's really beautiful. But when I tell you, like, when it comes down to her capacity of trying to figure out stuff, puzzles and stuff like that, it's a wash. It's like the video could be. You know how I know she be getting stuck on certain things? It's because usually it'll be like, and it's not a fight. It's so funny. She took on if you know the game, you know the game. But you know when you go into the in part 2, where you run around a corner and you see like fucking fire pit basically, and then like the undead creatures with the 2 axes pop up. And he's like, you know, mini boss or like that. She forked that thing twice and fucking destroyed it by the second time. Like the first time she got, you know, she got fucked up because she was, you know, trying to figure out the, you know, patterns and stuff like that. But the second time, fucking demolished it. It was fucking curtains for that thing. It was incredible. But like, and even when it came into the Thor fight, like the first Thor fight, when she fought Thor, it was dope as shit. Like she went in and like she did her fucking damn thing. Like she was trying to figure it out. Of course, she was getting hammered and fucked up. I think she died once or like that. But like it wasn't like it was it wasn't. When she lock in, she locks in. That's the best way to say it. When she locks in, she locks in. So all that to say is, I just got a notification. Because one of the last messages I sent was, I was like, you're trying to light a fire brazier with a weapon that focuses on ice. You have another set of weapons. so like literally like the last episode that she aired, which it's funny, she airs her episodes on Tuesday. Well, for God of War. She's playing a Witcher right now, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Which I might start watching her play, because she was playing God of War 1, 2018, and then she was playing Mass Effect 3. I'm not sure if she played the other 2. I believe she did. When she was putting her notifications up of the game she was playing, she was like, I'm airing God of War 2018 on Tuesday and Mass Effect 3 on Thursday. So that's how I knew she was playing that. But now, because she finished Mass Effect 3, she's playing Witcher 3. And Witcher 3 was actually a really dope game. I really enjoyed it. I actually have to replay it again, because I would actually want to play the expansion DLC that came with it. But I just haven't gotten back into it again. But, speaking of which, I'm super happy. Because one of the first women gamers that I actually started watching is back. Like, she was going through a lot of hard times. Her name's the Hidden Healer on Twitch. So when she comes back, like, I'm going to have to like super big up and like support her channel, and I want to ask everybody to help support her channel too, to have as many viewers as possible. She's been going through a lot of stuff for the last year. Like, she had got in a car accident, she had a broken foot, unrelated. She got laid off. She was having heart problems. Like, she just posted on her Discord, sharing all this information and stuff like that. So it's like, it was free and willing submitted information talking about all this stuff and the situations he was going through. Man, it's about to calm down. So, I like, these clouds are dark. Like, I feel like Storm and Thor, like, came together for a team up on this bitch. Like, what the fuck? It's gonna be crazy. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to. She said she's coming back. She's going to be playing again. I'm looking forward to like her energy. So like she used to play Witcher all the time. That was one of the games I actually got into watching her play. And then she really got really into what's the name of that? Not Far Cry. The one that's on Amazon Prime, the show. Fallout. There it is. She really got into Fallout, and she really loved playing Fallout. She liked to redesign her whole like she was a crack shot with her sniper rifle. She was also really handy with a shotgun and stuff like that. She would go into a territory and fuck shit up. Like it was really dope. Like I really enjoyed her energy and like what she was doing. But like I want to end that off here because like these clouds is getting ominous. So I'm gonna go shopping real quick. Get these windows up, go shopping, and head back home and hopefully not get too wet before I get in the house. Yeah, just probably relax and probably walk a little bit. Get my 20 minutes because I couldn't get my 20 minutes in this morning. That was another thing. All right, real quick. I was so annoyed because originally I was telling people I still talk to and communicate with. I was like, I didn't go to see Spider-Man on Monday because it was raining on Monday, and I was like, I didn't want to get wet and then go into like the AC riddle theater or something like that and get sick or like that. So I was like, I got Wednesday though. Wednesday is coming up, and it's a showing where it's not that many people because it was empty in my theater. I was so happy because I don't really like being next to people. Everybody breathing, you know what I mean? People, COVID still is a thing, so I don't really like being around people like that. So like I looked at the showing at the movie tavern, and it was vacant in there. It's like maybe like 7 people, and it was literally like 7 people, including myself, in that theater, and like. So I had it was basically I was like in a row by myself, so to speak, and I was basically sitting there, and I was just like, I'm going on Wednesday. I was like, I'm going Wednesday because this is the only showing that is like almost empty, almost barren. So I was like, rain, sleet, or whatever, I don't care, I'm going. But at the same time, I was checking the weather, and I was like making sure it was not raining, and it wasn't. It showed it wasn't going to rain until like later on the day. Like I was looking at it from like. Well, technically, it said it was only 65% chance on Monday. It was saying it was going to rain on Wednesday. But then on Tuesday, I could get to, up to like 20, like, I want to say 20 hours ahead. They're saying it was like showing me like it wasn't going to rain until like the late evening or like that. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I wake up this morning and it was literally raining. I was like, son of a biscuit. But regardless. I made it out there. I grabbed my jacket, my cloak, hoodie, like long coat, whatever like that. It like had my Spider-Man shirt on, representing. You know what I mean? It's the Spider-Man from the Spider-Man PS4 game suit, whatever like that, representing. And I mean, I went to see the movie. And I'm happy I did because it was really a good movie. I came out. It was sunny as crap outside, which was dope. I was like, all right, cool, but. Yeah, like I said, it's starting to get cloudy over here. Actually, it looks like it's just I don't know if it's rain in these clouds, but it like it's passing. It like it's just it like it's a storm cloud, but it like it's passing, but it's not bringing any rain. Just like it just all right, but that's good enough for me. Thank you for traversing this verse and listening to me talk about Marvel stuff and talk about. By some of my favorite black comic book characters, and yeah, just be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and go see Spider-Man if you can. If you're a fan, like you're not gonna be disappointed. If like you enjoy Tom and Zendaya and all them, you're not gonna be disappointed. But yeah, go enjoy yourself. I'm gonna go enjoy myself. And y'all have a fantastic, wonderful week. I know I will. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks again. All right. This has been a Troyiverse production.